everyone, welcome to today's video. Today we are going to be talking about a foundation that is absurd in cost. It is Tom Ford's Shade and Illuminate foundation. It is $150. G Brown literally just had a conniption behind the camera, but that's okay. So usually New Year's is like a big skincare, like everyone's all about like, the fresh skin, like redo your skincare. Well, I'm not a big skincare person. I've used like the same skincare regimen for the past 5 years and I haven't changed it. But I think it works okay for me. So instead of doing that, I was like, oh, I'm gonna go test out the world's like most expensive foundation from Tom Ford. So let's go ahead and talk about it really quick. It comes in like the standard Tom Ford packaging, but the foundation bottle itself is super, super beautiful and luxe. It's heavy as all get out. Like, it's just, I mean, you're obviously paying for the experience of Tom Ford in this case. Now, let's go ahead and talk about why it's $150, because at this price, I expected to also, like, fold my laundry. No, actually, I really like... Laundry is, like, my favorite chore. I wanted to clean my bathroom, is what I wanted to do. Probably won't, but let's at least see what it will do. The description is a medium to full coverage foundation with 3-dimensional radiance that reflects soft light, which sounds lovely. So it's a fade-resistant, moisturizing, nourishing, and protecting formula, which has a blend of advanced elastomers and light-diffusing powders to create the perfect radiant surface. So we will be giving this a full day wear test, so we're gonna find out if it is actually fade-resistant. Best thing is that I will also be wearing a mask today while I am out and about, so we'll see if it is transfer-resistant, which I don't think it actually says it is. Or I don't know if it is. They don't say that it is, so. So it also has SPF 50, so that's a lot, yeah? By the way, I'm looking at my sister behind the camera. She is still here, which is exciting. If you haven't had a chance yet, definitely go and take a look at the video I posted last week. It's basically where my sister chooses a bunch of products from the drugstore and we do first impressions reviews, and it's hilarious. I think it's hilarious. I don't know if you will, but I had a really good time. So, all right, enough of that. Let's go ahead and talk about a few more other products that I picked up from Tom Ford. This is the Shade and Illuminate Concealer. I have this in the color Taupe. I forgot to say what color the foundation is. The foundation is 5.5 Bisque, so we are going to be doing a full Shade and Illuminate Tom Ford splurging my poor wallet review today. Let's go ahead and let's get started. Really quick, I did want to say that I did prime my face already with the Origins Original Skin Pore Perfecting Cooling Primer with Willow Herb. If you have not checked out this primer, you absolutely need to. It's one of my favorites. Ooh, ooh, magnets. Always makes for a fun experience. Okay, let's actually do this. Sorry, getting super distracted. Oi, it's liquidy. Look at that. Look how it's moving everywhere. Looks like it should be a pretty good shade match though. That's cool. We're going to do Beauty Blender on one side and then we'll go ahead and do a foundation brush on the other. Okay, they weren't lying when they said medium to full coverage. Also, we have a lot of pitter-patter going on. My dogs are walking around. Dude, that covered a decent amount. And it looks quite natural still, though. It's not, you know how there are some matte foundations where once you put it on, it like does this like, and then it's like glued to your face and it's like, oh yeah, you're wearing foundation. This is not doing that. It looks pretty good. Let's go ahead with her forehead. I also feel like this is a foundation where a little goes a long way, so I might have over applied it just with a beauty blender. I like how it really took out some of the redness of my skin. I'm not super, super red today. I've had days where I've been more red. Maybe during this week as I try this foundation. So for anyone who's new to my channel, hi, hello. What we do with foundation reviews or any product reviews is I try them for like a full day wear test on Sunday, and then I wear that product basically for the entire week, and then I come back on Friday night and tell you my final thoughts before I upload on Saturday. But we're going to test the crap out of this. Let's go ahead and get to the brush side. That was a half pump. And brushy. The foundation color match though is pretty freaking good. So again, for everyone who is watching, this is 5.5 Bisque. So that was the brush side. Let me take a look really quick. I actually think I like how it applied with the Beauty Blender more than the brush in this case. Although I'm not noticing, especially in the camera, I'm not noticing a huge difference between left and right. So it looks more or less the same. This is really nice so far. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and do my eyebrows and my eye makeup, and then we'll come back and test the Shade and Illuminate concealer. This is in the color 2W1 Taupe. So let's talk about really quick what this does. It is a crease-proof concealer that helps boost skin's radiance and even skin tone. Medium coverage, buildable, waterproof concealer merges three-dimensional skincare with three-dimensional radiance. My. So it is infused with hyaluronic acid, smooths, moisturizes, and obscures redness, dark under-eye circles, and fine lines to create a flawless base for foundation. Wait, for foundation. Maybe I should have put this on before foundation, but that's not the order in which I do my makeup, so we're going to do it after foundation. Let's take a look at this. Again, I do really like that the packaging matches between the foundation and the concealer. I'm a huge sucker for good packaging. It's a relatively large doe-foot applicator. Let's go ahead and see what's up. I'm just going to go ahead and use a beauty blender for this. I don't want to do... Oh, it's a tad dark for me. I'm a big fan of using the Beauty Blender for any of my concealing. I believe when I purchased this actually from my friend Francisco, who does work at Tom Ford. If you're located in San Francisco, he's at Neiman Marcus. Definitely go visit him. He's fantastic. He told me to buy a lighter shade, and I was like, no, it looks a little bit like, it looks a little too light. Francisco, you were right. I should have bought a lighter shade. Sorry. But it still looks pretty good though. If I actually, once I blended it out and look at my under eye. All right, let's go ahead and do this side before it sets, and then we'll come back and see kind of the full analysis of how it looks. All right, let's get up close and personal here. My God, it looks pretty good. As I was blending it out, it definitely felt a little bit like tacky almost, like kind of a sticky concealer. I don't know that I have any concealers that are quite like that give you this sort of like sticky feeling. I'm going to go ahead and set this down with a CoverGirl Advanced Radiance powder. I just don't want it to move around. It is definitely a stickier concealer formula than I'm used to, but not in a bad way. I actually fairly like it so far. Let's see how it wears throughout the day. I will say it feels like it's very hydrating as well. My under eyes don't feel dry, which was a big relief because in my last video we tried the Milani concealer, and that one, after I put it on, I was like, ooh, it feels dry underneath here. So this is so far pretty good. Base is looking pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and finish up the rest, and then we will be back. We do also have the Tom Ford Shade and Illuminate blush. This is new to the line, and I have this in the color 05 Sundrunk. It's not swatching very well, I would say. So I would say this is probably going to give me a lighter flush of color. I'm okay with that though. Sometimes with blushes, I find when they're super pigmented, sometimes it just ends up kind of just being a bit more than you had anticipated. I'm going to mix these shades together. Wow. It's a very, very soft formula, very finely milled. You can kind of tell just by the powder kick up that did happen. You can see that on my pan. I am using Zoeva brushes. I find that Zoeva brushes do tend to cause a little bit more kickback. Not really sure why that is, but this blush definitely went on really nicely. All right, I'm going to go ahead and finish the rest of my makeup, and we'll be right back. So let's go ahead and take a look really quick at our foundation. This is definitely a full coverage foundation. So if you are looking for something that's going to cover your red spots, your pigmentation, this will definitely do it. What's interesting is I actually, and my sister and I both made this comment, is that we would actually consider this a relatively matte formula, which is interesting. It's not like a lifeless kind of a matte. It's not like a flat matte, if that makes sense. There is definitely, as I turn my face, it does still look like skin. You can definitely just tell that, like, yeah, it is covering up quite a bit, and the finish, particularly up here, it definitely set down as more of a matte formula. What I do like about it though is that everything went on beautifully. I definitely did powder my face. I always powder my face because I am very, very oily, but everything just went on top beautifully. Super easy to blend everything out. The concealer is actually looking really, really good. I did place a more brightening formula over it just because it is a tiny bit deep, but everything looks good. So now the only question is it going to last $150 throughout the day? Like, I want to know. That's the part that I'm super curious about because this better last. That's all that I'm saying. My expectations are like as tall as G Brown. So this better be good stuff. All right, I'll see you guys in a few hours. Hey everyone, welcome to our very first check-in of the day. We are about 4 hours into wearing our foundation and it is looking, let me see if I can get this to focus a little bit better. It's looking pretty good. I've actually just finished eating lunch, so I had a burrito, which was really good. And then I've also been wearing my mask on and off, and so far everything looks pretty good. The only thing I'm noticing right now is right around my nose. Hopefully you guys can see how it is breaking up here. But what's interesting is actually where my mask has been. Everything looks still pretty good, pretty intact. I'm probably going to go back out again, so I will most likely need to wear my mask for an extended period of time, so we'll get a really good idea to see if whether or not this foundation is transfer resistant. But I will say at the 4 hour mark, it's looking pretty good. Yeah. All right. See you guys in a bit. Hey everyone, welcome to our second check-in of the day. So I have just finished running errands, was wearing my mask the whole time, and if you look at my foundation, it looks like it's worn off a little bit right here. That's kind of where my mask tends to rub. But the funny part is right along here, where usually there's the lines on your face from the mask, I'm not seeing anything. And my forehead looks pretty good too as I zoom in on it. The one thing that I am noticing though is my concealer looks a little weird. There are, I don't know if you can tell, but as I turn my face, I mean, I obviously have highlight right here, that's totally fine, but I feel like I have shimmer underneath my eyes. And I don't know where it came from because I don't think that it's my eyeshadow, because I use a Tom Ford eyeshadow that I know and love. It's not one of the ones where it trickles down onto your face over over time. So I'm a little bit confused as to where all of this glitter kind of came from. So I'm gonna keep trying this for the rest of the week, obviously. I'll probably do one more check-in today right before I take my makeup off. But I'll let you guys know exactly what's what with this concealer, because I don't, why are there, I swear there's glitter flecks in there. It looks really weird. Anyway, I'll let you guys know. By the way, this otter's name is Uni. Isn't he adorable? So cute. All right, talk to you guys soon. So welcome to the very last check-in of the day. We have now had the foundation on for about 12 hours, and I've done a lot, wore my mask several times throughout the day, and I think, actually, things look really, really good. I actually was just looking in the mirror earlier, especially under these lights, things are looking pretty good. Everything looks more or less intact. There's definitely kind of where I was eating dinner. This part kind of came off just because I think I was wiping my face with a napkin and stuff, you know, like a civilized human being would. But I mean, other than that, I think everything looks good. One thing I wanted to point out though is that, you know how I was saying, that I thought that the concealer was somewhat sparkly. What's strange is that under natural lighting, I definitely noticed more of those sparkles, but under studio lights here, when you turn your face, they're not as noticeable. You can definitely still see some of them right here, and some of my concealer has definitely come off just because I've been rubbing my eyes as well. Allergies, you know what I mean? But I don't know, I'm gonna have to do a full-on assessment to understand how I feel about the concealer, but for now, based on today's wear test, I would definitely say that this foundation is pretty much a win. I'm gonna hardcore test it for the rest of the week. I wanna see how it's gonna work through workouts, through a bunch of different meetings, stressful things during the workday, and we'll kind of really make sure that it's gonna hold up and be a long wear foundation. So yeah, other than that, everything looks pretty freaking good, right? So, all right, I'll see you guys soon. Bye. Hey everyone, welcome back. It is now Friday and it is time for me to give you my final thoughts on the Tom Ford Shade and Illuminate products that I have been trying all week. Let's go ahead and talk about the blush first. If you are looking for a blush and you're interested in like the luxury market, this blush is absolutely beautiful. It does this thing to your skin where it's just like a beautiful glow with some color. It's very natural, but hyped up just a little bit. I really do like it. Are there lots of other blushes in the market that you could purchase that could give you a similar effect? Sure. But it's definitely something that I anticipate using quite a bit. For the concealer, actually, okay, so in one of my check-ins, I talked about how there were like little sparkles on my face, and I think I figured out what it is. There's a technique where you can actually put like concealer, you can basically contour out your face before you put on foundation. So you put on like, you know, the light concealer to really accent and highlight your face, and then the really intense like contour down to accentuate your cheekbones and your jawline. So I actually think that the concealer was meant for that. And in that case, if you're putting foundation over it, it's okay for it to have some of those sparkles, some of those like light reflecting particles, because I'm sure you guys have used, like, for example, the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless filter. That has a little bit of shine to it. Some of the other primers, like the Pixie by Petra primer, also has a little bit of sparkle underneath there. So if you're using it for that purpose, I think it works really well. Now, based on the description that I read earlier too in the video, how it was like, oh, before foundation, I think that's why the brand developed this concealer. Having said that, I don't use a concealer like that really. So I just continued using this concealer as like a regular on top of foundation to cover up my under eyes, and it still worked really well. It was really interesting because I feel like as the concealer wore throughout the day, I could start to see those sparkles a little bit more, but then they would dissipate and go away somehow or another. So this concealer has me a little bit baffled, but I really do like the coverage. I like how it covers everything underneath my eye. It makes everything look so hydrated. So it is quite a moisturizing concealer. So if you are someone who has drier skin, I don't know, maybe you want to check it out. And if you're willing to pay Tom Ford prices, then sure. Let's talk about the foundation. I am so mad at this foundation because I wanted to hate it. And believe me when I say, I tried really hard to make this foundation fail. I used primers that I hate underneath it in an effort to get my foundation to just like wear off really fast. It didn't. I used moisturizers that I don't really like. Didn't powder my face once. I think I did that once during this week to see if I could be like, oh look, it doesn't last all day. And this stupid thing worked every single time, no matter what I did. So here's the deal. I don't know that I can really tell you on this channel to go and purchase a $150 foundation, okay? Like I just think that that's absurd. It's $150. Like I don't know. Did I really enjoy it? Yes. Am I going to repurchase it again? I don't know. Maybe if I win the lottery. But for me, it was really fun to play with it. I'm really excited to have it in my collection just because I do think it's a beautiful foundation. It looks so gorgeous and it wears well throughout the day. It wore well through my workouts even. So again, I really enjoyed the experience. Do I think that I would recommend it to all of you guys who are watching? I don't really know about that. But what I do want to offer is a couple of alternatives so that if you want something that's really good in terms of long wear, is going to give you that beautiful kind of just lifelike complexion but cover all of your imperfections, then these are the products that I would go for. So this is the Shiseido Synchro Skin Self-Refreshing Foundation. Also oil-free, has SPF 30. I would highly recommend it if you're looking for something more on the high-end side, but not necessarily like Tom Ford luxury pricing. And then if you don't want to go even there for drugstore purposes, the L'Oreal Pro Glow and Pro Matte are two of my favorite foundations from the drugstore. I would definitely say that if you mix these together, you might be able to get an effect that's very similar to the Shade and Illuminate by Tom Ford. Now, having said that, also, the reason why the Tom Ford foundation is so expensive, and this is, I'm kind of jumping around here, sorry. The reason why it's so expensive is because it does have a lot of allegedly like skincare built into the foundation. The one thing I will know is that when I was removing my makeup at the end of the day, my skin felt pretty good. And by pretty good, I mean just hydrated. It didn't feel like the foundation was causing me to have any breakouts. I didn't feel like my face couldn't breathe throughout the day. Everything just felt solid. And I don't know, I just had a really good skin week, but that could just be because I had a good skin week. I don't know. To close up this video, would I recommend checking out the $150 Shade and Illuminate foundation from Tom Ford? Use your best judgment on this. That's all I'm going to say. The concealer worked pretty well for me. I didn't mind it so much, and then the blush I thought was really beautiful. So that pretty much closes up this video. There's only so much I can say about this product. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video on this absurdly priced foundation. So yeah, I'll see you guys next week. I hope you have an amazing New Year's. Welcome 2022. I hope it's an incredible year for everyone. I look forward to our next year of videos, and I'll see you guys next week. Thanks for watching. Bye. If you haven't had a chance yet, take a look. It's happening. All right.
A princess of
She was my second grade. No, Mrs. Brigham was my second grade. She was my. Oh, I think she was my first grade teacher too.
You had Mrs. Matthews?
Yeah, I did. So we are done with my entire face of makeup, and G Brown looks like he's ready to die. So we should, you know, wrap this up. Just kidding. I won't put that in there. Maybe at the end. So welcome 2022. I hope it's an incredible